Hey, Brad. I guess busy day for you. What made Jacob Markstrom the goaltender that you think can lead this team for the next 6 years?
Well, we've obviously watched him a lot playing against him in our division. I think he's you look at any metric that you measure over the last 3 years, and he's been a top goaltender in the league. He's big, he's athletic, he's competitive. We think he's a top NHL goaltender, and it took some work here. He's certainly being paid like one, and it's reflective of what we think of where he's at. So, listen, anybody that's followed us, we've tried different things in goal. And if I look at this past year, Cam, and I guess first of all, I want to wish him all the very best in Minnesota. This is the signing of Jacob isn't a criticism of anybody that was here or is here. And David, we just feel that not very often do top number one goaltenders get to the market. And if he did, we wanted to see if there was a way to strike a deal, and we were able to do that.
Kristen Anderson, go ahead.
There's been comparisons to Jacob Markstrom being the best goaltender that this team has signed since Mika Kiprusoff. I know those are maybe it's an unfair comparison, but as you alluded to, this city has been kind of yearning for that number one goaltender. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, let's let him play a game before we start, making any comparisons. Listen, situations are totally different when you had, I know, we hear about Mika and how can't you? He was, a franchise goalie here. We think, like I said, we think Jacob is a top goaltender. And he's a top person too. You talk to the people in Vancouver. He's got a big presence in the room. He's a teammate that everybody adores. So you need goaltending and you need depth at the position. And I think we've got it now with two guys, and I think it sets us up moving forward. But before we start making comparisons to people that are here before, we think this guy's a really good goaltender. Like I said, his numbers have proved it out. We think he's got a lot of hockey ahead of him. Obviously, we've made a significant commitment to him, and it's reflective of what we think of him.
Moses Waldo. Moses, go ahead.
Hi, Brad. I just wanted to discuss the term that you provided for Jacob at 6 years. Obviously, some goalies can take a little time to mature. Did you find that with Markstrom being in the Pacific, seeing him firsthand and what he did even last year and parts of the year prior, that, this guy still got some juice left?
Well, yeah, I think signing him to the contract that we did, feel that he's got some juice left. I know everything gets talked about at 30 years old, but life doesn't end there. At least I sure as hope not, or mine's been over for a while. So, goalies mature at different times. I think we're getting him in the prime of his career, to be perfectly honest with you. And we expect him to be a really good goaltender. He keeps himself in great shape. To get and this is part of free agency, right? You want to be as prudent as you possibly can be, but you'd like to sign everybody for 2-year deals or 1-year deals. That's just, at the end of the day, that's just not reality. If you want to get the player And to me, this was the best player at his position that was available to us today. It was a need that we had. It was a need that we wanted to address, not only for now, but moving forward. And so we were, we did the contract that we did. So, but again, the age doesn't bother me here. I know we all want players just to stop playing. We think that they're all done at 30 years old. I think this guy's got lots of hockey ahead of him. He's proven over the last, 3 years that he is a top goalie in this league, and I expect that to continue.
Donna Spencer. Donna, go ahead. Donna, go ahead.
Pardon me. Brad, do you have any sense of how many teams you beat out to get this guy?
Sorry, Donna, I didn't hear the question.
Do you have a sense of how many teams you had to beat out to get this guy?
I don't know. I know there was, he was talking. You don't know if guys are going to get to the market. That's number one. So he was there today. We put our best foot forward. There was other teams that had interest in him. We were able to do a deal. So I don't know. I know there was, there was significant interest in him. Everybody's got their own situation as it relates to their cap. So I'm not, I know he was fielding calls from numerous teams. We did a meeting with him over the phone. I'm not sure how many other teams. I got a sense, you have a pretty good sense of what's going on, but I'm not 100% sure.
Eric DeHatchick, go ahead. Just got to take yourself off mute there, Eric.
Sorry, Brad, just wondering what else you've got up your sleeve in terms of possibly filling some of the holes on the right side of your defense, and if there's a possibility that TJ Brodie might still be in the mix.
Well, he's certainly in the mix. He's fielding offers. We've been staying very in close contact with his representative. We need another defenseman, in that top grouping, top four. Whether that happens today, Eric, I'm not sure. But we know we need to address that spot. We've talked to TJ. I've talked to his representative, Anton Thun, regularly. I know he's got strong interest. He's mulling a couple offers. We'll see. I don't know. We know we need another defenseman there. Does that happen today? Does that happen later? Is that free agency? Is that a trade route? We're continuing to work the phones here right now, so I couldn't handicap it for you. But I do know I got a pretty good sense. TJ'd like to be here. We like TJ. Whether there's a deal there to be done, I know he's got other interest. We talked this morning. He was going to go into the market. And that's sort of where it's at right now. He's kept me informed of things, and we'll see where it goes. But we know we've got to address that defense. I don't know if that's going to be today or not.
Kristen Anderson. Kristen, go ahead.
Just what was your how did you prioritize your day? Like was and this maybe speaks to the pace of the free agent quote unquote frenzy. And as we've been speaking for the last couple of weeks, you kind of alluded to the fact that this is going to take a while. Is that proving to be true?
In terms, I don't know if I understand the question, Kristen. In terms of,
just in terms of the general pace of the signing of free agents, like you mentioned, you still have all the holes to fill on defense. But in terms of your priority list today, was Jacob Markstrom, a goaltender, your number one priority? How did you sort of look today?
Sure. Sorry about that. Yeah, priority was our goaltending, it's all a priority. But you know, obviously, you know, we talked to Jacob when the day started, and it took a while. I know everybody was, at least Peter Hanlon was telling me that there was lots of stuff being reported earlier. And that's, you know, these things take time, and it's not done till it's done. Jacob talked to a number of teams. We thought we put our best foot forward, and then you wait and see where you're at. And, you know, there's only so much money to go around, and before you spend, the more you spend in one spot, maybe the less you got to spend in another. We felt addressing the goaltending was a priority for sure, as well as now our defense. And, you know, there's a couple of holes there. We'll see how they get filled. I think we've got some really good defensemen. We need another one in that top grouping for sure.
Pat Steinberg. Pat, go ahead.
Brad, when you see, and you talked about the last few seasons for Jacob and how he's been a top goaltender, and he's been able to do it over 60 games in 2 of those 3 seasons. Can you just talk to that and the fact that not only has he put up top stats, but also has been able to shoulder a significant number 1 workload?
Yeah, and that's, again, we think highly of David Riddick, and he's come through the ranks here. There's few guys that, you know, go in there every day as a number 1. And, you know, I've said it time and time again, you need depth at the position in today's game. You know, next year, we don't know what it's going to look like, but we're anticipating that it's going to be, you know, a compacted schedule. But there's not a great deal of guys that can jump in there and play, you know, 50 or 60 games a year. And you've heard me talk about it, Pat, that I do think it's, and I think the league has moved to a situation where you need 2 goaltenders. But when you got a horse that can go in there and play, you know, it's a special skill set to go, you know, and handle that workload and handle that grind. And Jacob has shown that he can do that, and he's done it consistently over the last 3 years. You know, he's a top, you know, this guy it's taken him, like a lot of guys, it's taken him time to get to the top of his profession. But, you know, when Jacob came into the league, he was a highly thought of goaltender entering the league. Like a lot of goaltenders, it takes some time for him. I think there's been a maturity to his game. I think there's been a maturity to him as an individual. And now you see him as, he's a top end number 1 goalie that you can roll out there a lot of nights of the year. Now, having said that, you need depth at the position. But he's played a lot of games. He's handled the workload, and he's been consistent doing it.
We'll go back to Donna Spencer here. Donna, go ahead.
Sorry, I forgot to lower my hand.
Yeah, no worries. Back to Eric Tahachik here. Eric, do you have another question? Doesn't look like it on the video. Kristen Anderson. Kristen, go ahead. Or not. Pat Steinberg, do you have another question?
I'm here.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Kristen, go ahead.
I know you kind of mentioned Cam Talbot, Brad, at the beginning. Can you just maybe just say a word about how he impacted your team? And he was really thankful when we spoke to him earlier about the opportunity that you guys gave him last year.
Yeah, I spoke to Talbot today when he got his deal done and thanked him. Talbot is a good man. He's a good man. And, you know, we talked this day last year and said, listen, you come in here, he was coming off a tough year. It was a chance to reboot himself. I thought him and David gave us good goaltending. I thought, you know, it after maybe an up and down start for Talbot, he was really good in the second half. He was good for us in the playoffs. You don't meet too many finer people, just a total pro. I wish him and Kelly all the best in Minnesota. They're good people. I talked to Billy Guerin today. I said, you're getting a good goaltender. You're getting a great man. And So he was good for us. And like I said, what he did on and off the ice, work he put in, great teammate, well liked. And we wish him all the best.
Pat Steinberg, do you have another question?
Yeah, just wanted to kind of on that same wavelength, Brad. Did you double back, or did you have a chance to chat with Tobias Rieder before he left for Buffalo?
Yeah, I didn't talk to Tobias. I talked to his representatives leading up to today, and we talked about what a contract would look like for us, and he wanted a chance to enter the market and see if there was maybe what he felt a better opportunity for himself, and and good for Tobias. He's, I go back with Toby to, we traded for him when I was in Arizona, when I was running the American League team in Portland. Toby was there. He's a great kid, so wish him well. I haven't talked to him yet, but I'll catch up with him later.
I see a few more hands up here. We'll go to Ryan Pike.
Hey, Brad. I know you mentioned sort of, I guess, your depth at the NHL level of goaltender. Are you feeling good about your depth in the American League level with Zagadula and Parsons heading into this coming season, sort of not knowing what the whole season will look like down there?
Well, we're probably looking to add to that, in one way, shape, or form. So we'll see what the coming days bring. We've qualified, obviously, Tyler. He's dealing with a bit of a medical issue on his ankle right now. We'll see how long that takes. We got Zag there. We may try to add to the pipeline there.